Supple Tribe, hello, how are you doing today? This is your first class in the beginner section, and also just a little bit of a warm welcome from me and Supple Warriors and everybody else in here. This is going to be a fantastic journey. Please just understand that this sort of stuff will take a few weeks to get used to, so don't beat yourself up too much when you first start. And it's the same with starting anything. You're here for a reason. Stay disciplined, stay motivated, and even when that motivation is low, stay disciplined. Reach out to the community, reach out to me, we can get this done. In terms of the class today, it's going to be all about the hips and internal rotation and a bit of abduction, which is the leg leaving away from the body, and internal rotation of the hip is really vital and really just underused and underutilized in this day and age in both modern life and fitness and pretty much everything, sports, you name it. Equipment that you will need, especially if you're new and especially if you have very tight hips, you will definitely need something to sit on, like yoga blocks, or even if you sit on like a little stool, something like that. I would probably recommend doing that, and I'll explain that when we get there. So yoga blocks, you won't need anything else really. As you progress into mobility training, you may want to, purchase some weights and clubs and that sort of thing, but you don't need that right yet. All you need is yourself and some yoga blocks, or something of similar size and stature to a yoga block. So I will be guiding you and talking you through this entire class. We're going to get started with pretty much every single class. We will do some cars as a warm-up, and if you have been doing the program properly, you would have gone through the intro and you would have seen the daily routine, which is almost like a wake up for your body. Not too intense. When you're doing the cars at the start of a class, think about intensity. Really try to ramp up that intensity. Think about irradiation, building that tension in the body so that we can really fire up those joints and get them ready and get them working and get the most out of this time that we're putting into our bodies. So to start with, because we're working lower body, we're just gonna start with some lower body cars. First of all, we'll start with spinal segmentation, because this is something that you really can't do enough of. If you've not done these before, or if you're very new, these are one of the hardest things to get really, really good at, so don't stress about it too much at all. For the spine, we have extension. This is full extension, and full flexion. So we're going to start in full flexion, and the idea is to think about moving each single vertebrae of our spine one at a time. Obviously very difficult, just do the best you can, and if you have to get other things involved, that's fine too. We're going to start by anteriorly tilting or lifting that pelvis whilst trying to keep everything else really still. One vertebrae at a time, nice and slow, nice and controlled, all the way up, so that we're in full extension. Head will lift last. Stay in this position and then reverse from the same spot. So from lower, you're now trying to tuck that tailbone under and scoop under whilst trying to keep your head up and T-spine extended. One vertebrae at a time, nice and slow, nice and controlled. And don't worry how this looks, how this feels. It will look probably a little bit different to how I look. Just do the best you can as we move on into that second rep. During these exercises, if you feel tension, I feel a bit of tension, to be honest. I had a lower back that was tighter than usual this morning, so this feels great, and I've done like a heavy leg session today, so I'm not always perfect. Sometimes my body feels like it needs a little bit more love, and this is one of those days. So just keep going slow and controlled, practicing, concentrating, moving one vertebrae at a time. That's 3 reps. We're going to do one more, really slow. Try and build up that intensity a little bit so that you're not moving through the scapula, going nice and slow with intention, and really trying to concentrate on that spine, moving one vertebrae at a time. If you've got a partner or someone who's doing this with you, it's so beneficial to have some touch feedback. So someone could just tap their fingers up your spine as you're moving so that your brain can think, oh, okay, I'm trying to move from there. Fantastic. Spinal segmentation done. We're going to go into some hip cars now. So we're going to do it from side lying. You may have done them side lying, or you may have done them standing up. Side lying, I think, is great if you're new. So what I want you to do is lie on your side. Hands can either squeeze together, so you almost top arm can push, bottom arm can pull, or bottom arm can push, top arm can pull. It's just so you build tension there. You can also hold a block, a kettlebell, whatever you've got for added tension. Top leg's going to be the one working. I want you to externally rotate that hip, which is bringing that foot into the center line of the body almost. And then you're going to be dragging that foot up into hip flexion, abducting whilst trying to externally rotate. Then when you get to a point where you think, I can't go any further, I internally rotate and drive that heel back as far as I can, imagining like I'm touching the wall behind me. Glutes and hamstrings are going to be engaged. Knee then comes together. Reverse for the second part of the movement. Heel goes back, then we abduct. This is a point where you'll feel like it's quite limited. For a lot of people, you'll feel like you get stuck again. To move, you have to then externally rotate that hip again, back into flexion, all the way up, and then back down. So that's 1 rep. We're going to go for 2 more. Go nice and slow, nice and controlled. Throughout every single class you do, for any joint, I want you to think about slow, controlled movements, moving through like honey, moving through some sort of resistance so that you're concentrating and building that tension throughout your entire body so that you can get the best bang for your buck on whatever joint we're working. 1 more rep, so externally rotate and flex as high as we can. Abduct, try not to compensate in the lower back. Internally rotate, drive back. Keep internally rotating as the knee comes down, then knees come together. Drive heel back into extension. Abduction and a little bit of internal rotation if you've got it. And then externally rotate to come back through and back down. Awesome. I should have said, if you do want a block for your head, I'll demonstrate that on this leg. For me, honestly, I just most of the time just like to use sort of my hand as tension or something, but yeah, the block can be helpful. Exactly the same on the other side. So deep breath in, full body tension, rotate and flex, abduct. You can push your hand into the floor like me if you want to, and just drive back. I just like holding my fists together, or even pushing into my own arm like this. Reverse, abduction. You'll get stuck, so you externally rotate and flex. By the end of a few classes, you'll know, all of the terms that I'm using into that second rep. It'll just be almost just autopilot. You'll know what to do, but this is the first class. Don't worry if it's a little bit confusing, if you have to pause the video and watch me do a few reps first, then do them, whatever works for you. Just remember, listen to your body. 3rd rep coming in, and build that tension. Concentrate on that hip. When we're doing cars, when we're doing any exercise, a lot of the time I will say, find your end and fight for more. That's find your end range and fight for more. That's so beneficial if you just work through your outer ranges of motion. If you imagine like scooping out the last bit of peanut butter out the jar, or if you picture a circle with little bits of like pebbles and rocks on them, and you're like pickaxing away at all that old rusty sort of range of motion that you need to get back. It's like you're pickaxing away, making that circle nice and smooth, getting those outer ranges of motion. Anything that works in your head to visualize, always working at those end ranges, not compensating, that's the goal. So with the position that we're going to be doing for the hips, a lot of time people can suffer with a bit of knee pain. So we're going to warm up the knees, not loads, but a little bit. So I want you to sit like this, dig your heel into the ground, and if you've tried the knee cars, the tibial rotation is very hard to get. So we're just going to try and do that. Again, if you can't do this yet, don't stress. It took me weeks, maybe about 2 or 3 weeks to actually even just see some movement. But hold your hamstring, dig your heel into the ground. That's going to help. And just concentrate, almost look down your shin, like you're looking down for a rifle and aiming. Externally rotate, internally rotate. And see if, obviously the ankle is going to move, but just see if you can initiate that movement from this area, from your tibia knee, top of the tibia knee area. And then Internal rotation is usually the hardest, so if you externally rotate and just squeeze, you should be able to feel something, and then internally rotate. And once you've internally rotated, you can put your hand on the other side of your foot and just practice on almost like trying to internally rotate a little bit away from that hand, and then externally rotating and pushing into that hand. And just try and feel that knee joint for a little bit. We're going to swap legs and just do exactly the same. Internally rotate, externally rotate. Dig heel into the ground, hold hamstring so that you can feel it engaging. That's very important. Got a bit of food stuck in my tooth, which isn't ideal. Just had a lovely dinner though. So internal rotate, squeeze. External rotate, squeeze. Internal rotate, look down that shin if you can to see what's going on. If your ankle's burning a bit, don't worry, that's normal. Just try to feel the knee stuff working and just concentrate as much as you can. On the next time you internally rotate, right hand comes across and just push into that hand a little bit to feel a little bit of the outer knee stuff, and then try to bring your foot away from that hand, feel the in knee stuff. Awesome. Ankle cars. We will do both ankles at the same time. Actually, no, we won't, because some people may not have blocks yet. So we'll do one ankle at a time. Exactly the same position on the right hand side. Right arm comes underneath right sort of knee crease, almost like you're choking out your own knee. Lift your foot off the ground, stay nice and tight everywhere. Push like you're putting your foot down on the car to accelerate, and then just make a big circle whilst trying to keep that shin really still. So the ankle's moving in a massive circle, but your shin is staying as still as possible. Going to do 4 reps one way, 4 reps the other way. And if you find that this circle is like slowing up, speeding down, a little bit clunky, toes don't know what they're doing, totally normal. Change direction. Just make that biggest circle that you possibly can. If it starts to burn, starts to cramp, that's, you know, just means that you haven't really moved your ankle like this ever or in a long, long time. And that's normal. Just try to push those outer ranges like I talked about. It will burn. The smaller joints burn a lot for some reason. Lots of intricate little things going on there. Awesome stuff. Change sides, exactly the same. Deep breath in, full body tension, and push gas pedal down, in, big circle, out. My left ankle is a lot more stubborn. Ooh, you might feel cramp coming on like the bottom of your feet. Again, normal. Whew. I must have done something today to work my feet because they are fatigued. Change direction. 4 reps this way, then we'll get cracking into the class. One more rep. Slow and controlled, don't rush it, don't speed up, don't slow down. End range of motion, find your end, fight for more. Biggest circle we can, all the good stuff. Awesome. Now, bear sit's going to be the first position. Grab some blocks. You will definitely need some blocks. For me, I'll demonstrate with 2. And this, if you have a wall behind you, you may use that as well, or you can use your hands to post. The bear sit position, most people hate it when they start, and then they learn to love it because you can get a lot of good stuff done here. But the idea is sit up nice and straight. The whole time you want your chest to be up nice and strong, nice and tall. You don't want to be hunched over and really struggling. If you start to feel a lot of tension in the upper body, that's when you might have to lean back and just, you know, relax, post, come out of the position, pause the video, whatever you need to do. We're not going to be in here for too long, but you know, it is a little bit of time to get started. And don't worry, every single class has lots of different positions. If this one's really, really uncomfortable for you, do what you can. On that note, if you come into a position like what we're going to be doing is internal rotation on one leg, very common to feel some sort of discomfort here, and that can just be through a number of different reasons, and most of it is because of your lack of mobility, lack of strength, all that sort of stuff. So knee has to kind of compensate for your lack of your hip movement. If you do have this knee pain, play around with leaning back, going up higher on more blocks so you can come in further, or grabbing more blocks, stacking them here and resting, or even like this. You could almost like rest your hand like so, and that's the sort of idea. You can also play around with foot position. You don't have to be 90 degrees here. You can come in a little bit, you can go out a little bit, whatever works for you and your body to get the work done, concentrating on the hips. So we're going to be in this position. We're going to work right leg first, and what I want you to imagine is that you're internally rotating from this hip. So it's like swiveling in, internally rotating, and then when you get to a point where you can't go anymore, just cradle that knee, find a position that's comfortable, or, I mean, it's not going to be the most comfortable thing ever, but a position where you can sit. And like I said, you can lean back if you need to, whatever works for you to feel rotation, feel something going on, like a nice stretch on your hip. If it's lots of knee stuff, just move the foot around, see what you can do to get yourself out of that like discomfort in the knee. You should be feeling in the hip. So this is what in a lot of the classes, we're going to be doing a pails and rails contraction, which is what you should have seen in the intro video. The first step of a pails and rails is that stretch. If you're hypermobile, you do not need to stretch. You just need to, get the strength back. So the stretching element is for people who want to get a little bit more flexible, which is most. So hold this position. We're going to be holding it for like another minute because we've done about a minute already. And what we're going to be doing for the pails, I want you to imagine that we're basically working the progressive tissue, which is working against the stretch that we're in. So you're basically going to block off here. And when I say go, you're going to slowly ramp up that tension, imagine like a volume dial, and you're going to lift open like you're imagining like you're externally rotating your hip and lifting back to neutral. But your hands are going to be blocking it. So you're building that progressive strength in this vulnerable position. Once I say switch and go to rails, you're then going to move your hands out the way, do whatever you need to do, and try to force some more internal rotation. If that knee is sore, just push into your hand like this. One round, then another round, then other leg. So with the pails and rails, if this is obviously one of your first ever classes, don't go to your max effort. Go to about 60–70% and just try to concentrate on feeling the stuff going on in the hips. Deep breath in, chest nice and high. Squeeze that core nice and tight, hands block on the outside, and then start to gradually increase. 3, 2, 1, and you should be at your greatest or safest effort now, really pushing into your hand, feeling that hip stuff work. About 7 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rails, reverse, really trying to internally rotate as much as possible, really engage everything, engage the foot, engage the calf and everything you've got to really push as much internal rotation as you possibly can. If it cramps, that's normal. So don't panic. If it starts to feel like cramps coming, that means you're working very hard and it's very weak. 3, 2, 1, relax. Take a deep breath in, 4 seconds in through the nose, and 4 to 6 seconds out through the nose. Try. Whilst we have about 45 seconds recovery, we're going to try and sink a little bit deeper into this stretch. This is the moment where we just recover, do as best we can to deal with this not so comfortable position. Honestly, like bear sit for me is, I love it and I hate it. Sometimes I feel really good in it and sometimes I don't. It's with the knee as well, like for me, previous knee injuries, it's like my brain is like, I don't like this, but I know it's okay. So it's just almost sometimes like a defensive mechanism, coping mechanism from your brain to say, oh, this is a weird position. That's okay, we're building strength there. Second round coming up. So deep breath in, irradiate, oops, falling off the block, build tension, 3, 2, 1, and start to drive and imagine like you're externally rotating that right leg into your hands, building up to your greatest and safest effort now. fight as hard as you can, unless you just go to that level where it's hard, but you're not feeling any discomfort, like pain. You want discomfort, but good discomfort. Push, push, push. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and reverse for the rails. If you want, you can push against your hand so your body knows what that movement is. Concentrate on the hips. Everything you've got, chest up nice and high, drive with the hips, in, turn and rotate. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly stay where we are. Take a deep breath in and out. Sink a bit deeper if we can. I know it's uncomfortable. We're coming out of this position very soon. Close your eyes if you need to. Concentrate. And slowly come out of that position on the right hand side. If you need to pause the video and get into a different position or have a little breather, do that, but we're going to get straight back into the other side. So nice and tight, chest up nice and high, internally rotate with that left foot until you get as far as you can, and that's me. And then just relax, try and hold that position. So again, throughout your journey here, please be aware that you can, join those live calls. They're really important. Message in the community, ask questions. You're here to make your body better, and the more active you are, the more likely you are going to come back and do the classes. And believe me, I know how you're feeling. You might feel like, I don't want to do a class, all that stuff. All your brain's going to be telling you all these things not to do it. Yeah, do it tomorrow morning or do it later on. Get them done, and then afterwards you'll feel so good. And that's just part and parcel of it. Once you've built a habit, it's gonna be way easier. You're gonna see a lot of progress. The start is the hardest for pretty much anything. Deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Again, same again, 2 rounds, pails and rails. The pails, blocking on the outside, imagining like we're externally rotating, and then for the rails you can either block and push in, or you can just put your hands out or your hands back and really try to drive in. If you lean back loads, it's going to be easier to get more range of motion because it's not as compromising. Okay, first round, here we come. Get your minds ready. 3, 2, 1, deep breath in, pack that air down, and slowly start to externally rotate into those hands on the outside of your left knee. Like a volume dial up to your greatest and safest effort, and hold. 5, 4, 3, feels good on this one too. 1, and rails, driving down as hard as we can. Don't forget about that right leg. Try and keep tight everywhere. These yoga blocks are slipping. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. I should probably have put 4 yoga blocks down really, so I could have had a bit more support. But never mind. Relax into that position. Feel that hip. Try and sink deeper if you want to, or if you can. If you're still feeling a stretch where you are, just stay there, just chill. And this is uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable position. You're probably like, oh my God, what am I doing? It's honestly gets easier. It still is always hard because you get better. It's the same as anything. If you get really good at something, you just make it harder. That's what training is. Okay, deep breath in, 2 more. Deep breath out. 1 more in, 4 seconds. Calm that nervous system, try and concentrate, try and sink into this stretch a little bit more. And exhale. Last deep breath in. Pack that air down, irradiate, build full body tension, and start to drive externally out into that hand or hands, and you're blocking it now. You're building up gradually to your greatest and safest effort, which should be now. Push, push, everything you got. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Change, internally rotate. I'm going to try with my hands out now, squeeze in as much as I possibly can. Concentrating on that hip, internally rotating. Feel that burn, feel that crampiness. 5, 4, 3, 2, chest up nice and high. 1, relax. 3 or 4 deep breaths here, about 45 seconds. And slowly guide yourself out of that position. If you want to, have a little bit of a stand up, just have a little bit of a shake off. We're gonna go straight back into that position. I'm gonna grab, no I'm not, I'm just gonna keep these two, I've committed now. We've done internal rotation. What I want you to do, I'm going to demonstrate with this sitting off blocks just because I prefer it, but whatever you are comfortable with. I like to lean back like this, but if you've got blocks, you can lean back as well. We're just going to do a little bit of sort of like 90-90 switches with internal rotation and external rotation. So if you think this is the bear sit position, we're basically going to bring my right leg in as far as I can, like we've just done. Find your end, fight for more. External rotate, find your end, fight for more. Internal rotate, find your end, fight for more. External, find your end, fight for more. And keep doing this for 3 more reps. So 5 on each side, and really try and wring out that rotation that we've just worked hard for, especially here in internal rotation. So when you get to that end, squeeze, full body tension. Everything working as hard as you can. 1 more rep on this side. And keep that right leg where it is, and now left leg for 5 reps. So in, squeeze for a couple of seconds, out, squeeze for a couple of seconds. And you can make this as intense as you want. Go to where you feel like it's very hard, but it's not painful. It should be, it's very hard for me to just describe, you know, good pain and bad pain, but you'll know deep down in your own body what's good, what's beneficial, what's not. That one felt great. That's 3 reps, 2 more. One more. Awesome. Go back on those blocks if you need to. We're going to be working abduction now. So adduction is legs closing in, abduction is out. Obviously it's a little bit of rotation as well, but abduction is going to be working adductors and abductors. So find a position. You can use hands like so. You can grab a block if you have extra range. And you can also do it whilst sat on a block or sat on something high. To be fair, this feels pretty good for me, sat on a block. Whatever feels good for you, doesn't really matter. And we won't hold this stretch for too long, but I want you to try to imagine like your legs are a book and you're opening that book as much as you can. Hands are going to come down and block however you want to, depending on your range of motion. For the pails, it's going to be basically using your arms as blockages or barriers, and you're going to imagine like you're trying to crush them in and close that book, but you're not going to let your legs win. Sometimes, you know, I mean, for me, my legs are way stronger than my arms, so I kind of have to try everything I can to not let my hands win. That's why sometimes it can be more beneficial to hold a block like so that, you know, there's something that's not going to be It's more immovable, I guess. That's going to be the pails. About 10-15 seconds of that, again, gradually building up. Then when I say rails, you're going to imagine like you're trying to open those legs as much as you can. Squeeze, hands can come off, they can squeeze like this, they can push out in front, anything you can do to utilize full body tension, and just really try and open as much as you can in those hips for, again, 10-15 seconds, and rest. 2 rounds of that. Whew. Okay, get yourselves ready. Whatever position you need to do, if you need to pause the video, think about chest nice and high the entire time. Okay, 3, 2, 1, slowly start ramping up, trying to close those legs. Arms are blocking it. So you should feel inner groin, all this stuff on the inside of your legs should be starting to work now. Greatest and safest effort, let's go. Squeeze, 5, as much as you got, come on, 3, 2, 1, and rails reverse, hands can go out like this. Really try to open those legs. If you need to put your hands behind you, then that's fine too. But everything you've got to squeeze those legs open as much as possible. 5, 4, come on, keep going. 3, 2, 1, relax. Sink, if you can, sink a little bit deeper into that stretch. Think about your pelvis position. You want to like almost arch your back a little bit so that you're sitting up nice and straight. We don't want to see anything like this, any flexion or any chests down. Again, it's going to be tiring in this position. That's the whole point. Mobility training is tough, it's hard. You're going to feel great when this is done, and we're not too far off it. So you know, you've definitely done the hardest bits, maybe. Deep breath and basically try and recover as much as you can. Calm that nervous system. One more round coming up. So just a quick explanation, 2 rounds is kind of where we start. Sometimes, you know, if you're feeling great, pause that video, do another round. That's always recommended. If you're really struggling, some days you might be 1 round's okay too. You know, just do what is like, well, I always ask that you try and push your body, but not overly push it. You know, you're still trying to get some work done, but you don't want to go too hard too soon. Deep breath in, getting ready for that pail. So we're closing those legs, blocking it off, full body tension. 3, 2, 1, off we go, ramping up to your greatest and safest intensity. That could be 100%, it could be 70, it could be 30, it doesn't matter, as long as that is your greatest without pain. 10 seconds, keep going. Last round for pails and rails of the day. So keep pushing. 3, 2, 1, and rails reverse. Open those legs out as far as you can. Use whatever you need to for hands and tension. Everything you've got. Push, push, make it cramp if you can. Cramp is good. The more you cramp, the less it will happen. 3, 2, 1, relax. 3 or 4 deep breaths here, chest up nice and high. As you're recovering, I'm going to demonstrate the next exercise. It's going to be some lift-offs, and these are a bit naughty. So if you want to, you can put your hands back, and you may need to stay in this position. That's absolutely fine. What we're going to be doing is 5 reps each leg. So we're going to be going from a bear sit up into a straddle or half straddle or pancake, and then back in. What I want you to think of is not this, like not trying hard. I want you to think what I said at the start of the class, find your end ranges and fight for more. So really try to lift and open. I'm probably definitely gonna have to lean back a little bit, like so. So trying to get as high as you can, as wide as you can, all that good stuff. Okay, 5 reps each leg. 3, 2, 1. If you haven't leaned back already, lean back. And nice and tight, off we go. Lift that leg and touch and lift and touch. That's 1, 2, 3, slow, controlled, end ranges of motion, concentrating, nearly done for the today. I know this is really hard, I know it's fatiguing, but we're gonna get a lot of work done here. This is the 5th rep already. Good stuff, chest up nice and high. Ooh, nice, straight into that left leg. 3, 2, 1, lift, touchdown, lift, touchdown, lift, straight leg, heel touch, lift, bent leg, heel touch. That's 2 already. Awesome stuff, well done. Relax there, slowly come out of that position. Whew, give it a shake off. We do not need those blocks anymore. If you have water, grab a little sip. That's the meat and bones of the class done. Congratulations, we've got a few things to do. Just like at the end of the class, we're gonna do some capsular cars, work on that internal and external rotation, and keep getting bits of food in my mouth, sorry. And then we are going to do some cars to finish, because it's always good to see how the cars feel before and after a class. They'll hopefully feel a little bit fatigued, but definitely better. So what I want you to do is lie on your backs. We work the left leg last, so we'll work the right leg first. Bring that right leg up 90 degrees. Keep your pelvis level. Knee, imagine like someone's basically stuck. Like if I get this stick, imagine like I've gone, stuck my stick through my leg and it's stuck now. So the only thing that can move is the rotational side of my hip. So I want you to focus on externally rotating, squeeze. Find your end, fight for more. Internal rotate, squeeze. Find your end, fight for more. Okay, off we go. We're gonna do 6 reps each foot or each leg. I'm lucky I've got a mat that I can hold onto for extra tension. Tell you what, we'll do like 60 seconds. So go in your own time, your own pace. I'll be timing it. So this means that you can't rush those 6 reps. Just go as much as you can with like a 2 or 3 second squeeze at those end ranges of rotation. It's gonna be very fatigued now, because we've done a lot of work already, but this is almost like teaching our brains, telling our system that we want access, we want more range of motion and it's safe. So now's the time to really crank it and really feel like you can get some benefits here. About 15 seconds left on this leg. Be strict with yourself, don't let yourself compensate. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whew. Whew. Left leg up. Imagine that pole coming in, sticking it down, and externally rotate, squeeze. Internally rotate, squeeze. Externally rotate, squeeze. In your own time, about 45 seconds. Off we go. Well, sorry, you should have started, but you got it. Find your end, fight for more. Don't give up, even when you start to fatigue, even if you feel like you can't get the range that you want, push and work as hard as you can. That's the most important thing. 15 seconds. Last 10, keep going. Almost done. Don't let that intensity drop. It'd be crazy how much work you can get done with just your body weight. 3, 2, 1. Oh, relax. Oh, great stuff. Back to the sideline position. For those hip cars, use a block for your head for a pillow if you want to. And this is nothing crazy. We're just gonna do 2 reps each side and just see how it feels. So nice and slow into flexion, abduction, internally rotate, and just see if it feels any different. it may not feel any different. You might not be able to remember what the first ones felt like. But this is just some days off the class, you will feel like $1,000,000. You'll feel like, wow, my hips feel so much better. And it's addictive. It's really addictive. Especially when, you know, all this, the pain or injuries or whatever it is you might be dealing with, swap sides, starts to slowly go away. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Really slow, not too much intensity, but still, you know, crank it a little bit if you want to. You've worked hard to get more internal rotation, more abduction. So tell your brain, tell your body, hey, I'm doing these cars now because I want that range of motion. I want to keep it. That's why the morning routine or the daily routine is so important, because you do it every single day. Tells your body, yep, still want access to this every single day. Don't want to forget it. No compensations, minimize spine, maximize hip. Well, that is the first class completed. If you need to do any more any more cars, spinal segmentation, really, really good. If you've got time, always crack those out at the end of a class. If you're into breathwork, go to the breathwork section. It's in the movement mastery and recovery, maximal expansive breathing. That's super beneficial to do as well. So get that class done if you've got an extra 10-15 minutes. If not, let me know how you found it. Either community, best option, because other people can learn, or DM if it's a little bit more personal, or I'll see you on a live call. See you on the next video. Let's go.